Welcome back, Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy, and the knife I have in front of you today is the newest version of the Kershaw Natrix. It is the, oh, wrong box, that's the Atmos. It is the 7007 CF, and this blade's coming in right at $42 at Blade HQ. I decided to pick this one up because my buddy Tyler from EDC Gear Reviews said that he liked his and he was enjoying it and he recommended it. So while I was at my local shop today, I noticed that they had 5 of these in stock, so I was able to hand pick it and give it a shot. I'll tell you right now, this thing is super lightweight. We'll weigh it in a little while. Let's get into it. You have a drop point sheep's footish blade with a titanium nitride coating. You have dual fullers on each side of the blade, matching fullers, blood grooves, whatever you want to call them. Minimal billboarding on this side. You just have the Kershaw logo on this side. Flip it over, you have the model number and the blade steel designation, the 8CR13MOV. Even though it's definitely not my first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth choice of blade steel, you know, after my own personal testing, Cedric Aneta's testing, EDC Gear Reviews testing, and several other people, as long as you put a good edge on this guy, it's going to handle your normal day-to-day EDC task to an extent. It's not an absolutely terrible steel, it's just not my choice. But that's what's on it, and that's what I get. You got jimping up here that's cut rather deep. You get a nice grip on it whenever you bear down, and this deep choil you got right here and that ramp allows you to really lock in there, get a nice secure grip. Let's see, let's close this guy up, and as you can see, you have some nice thick cut jimping. There you go, thick cut jimping that really gives you traction when you're going to flip this guy. The detent on this one was dialed in the best out of the 5 that I've handled, and this one has a lightning action on it. This thing is also riding on the KVT ball bearing system. That was another reason why I picked it up. I'm not a big fan of the speed assist, and they took it out on this one, so that was a selling point for me. Let's close it up again. You can see you have a nice decorative pivot. You can also see the blue G10 underneath there. It's like a bluish gray G10, kind of like a gunmetal color. I find it rather attractive and a nice contrast with this carbon fiber overlay. And I'm pretty sure this is one piece of carbon fiber. It's hard to tell because it's so thin. Can't really see the sides to see the weave in it, but it's a small little piece, so there you go. You got a Torx T8 here, Torx T6 on the body screws. As you can see right here, it's tip up, left or right hand carry, and that is a deep carry clip. Let's see what it looks like in the pocket real quick. Only in the slanted, can't fit it in the other one. My simulated pocket. So as you can see, it sits nice and deep, just that little bitty nub sticking out. Very, very nice. Like to see that. Let's flip it over to this side. You can see it has their subframe lock, which Kershaw has patented. I think that's a nice little touch. Keeps the knife nice and lightweight because they're able to just put this little small lock bar and screw it in to this. I think it goes into the clip, and you don't have a whole liner adding extra weight to the knife. Just a nice little touch. The centering on this guy is favoring the right side a little bit, but this was the best out of the 5 that I handled. You have somewhat of a floating backspacer right there. As you can see through it. It is a plastic backspacer, not a big deal to me. Let's look in the inside. I don't think you have any lightning pockets. No, you don't really need them because this is pretty much all G10 and carbon fiber knife with that small little lock bar added to it, so it's nice and lightweight. The retention on the pocket clip so far that I've noticed was pretty nice. It doesn't leave a hot spot. That ramp doesn't really catch me, and it's not too high here. But they did not recess or countersink those screws, so I did notice it sometimes not going all the way down in the pocket because it was catching on those screws. Let's go into the ergonomics. And this grip right here, I definitely am locked in and get a nice grip. It's decent in the feeling department, and this grip, it's really nice, even though I don't use that much. Your reverse grip is pretty good. Your hammer grip is pretty good, and all these grips are really good because you got that fuller that you can pinch onto. Let's see. Let me think. You can see that they cut out a portion right there so you can access that lock bar, and you also have a little cutout right there on the lock bar to be able to get your finger in there to disengage the lock bar. Let's see what else. This I don't know if I said it before. This is my second take of this. It is riding on the KVT ball bearing system. That was one of the selling points for me. I'm not a huge fan of the speed assist. Let's see how this thing came out of box sharpness. It feels rather sharp. Whoop, that was my fault on there. Let's see. Nice and slow cut. It's not snagging, so that means the edge is pretty well refined. Yep, that'll definitely work. I'm sure that'll shave hair. Nicely done. I'd say I'd give them an A for effort on that one. Let's get some size comparisons real quick and some competition for this knife. The first one is a family member to this Kershaw, and that is the Cryo 2. This is a modded one, but it's still the same size as far as length goes. So these two are almost identical, if not identical in size. You do have a bigger handle in the Cryo 2, but there you go. The next one is the Kaiser Tangram Santa Fe. And the Santa Fe is just a titch smaller, barely at all, maybe a little bit smaller in the blade. Another one rivaling is the CRKT Caligo. And the Caligo is just a little bit bigger. You definitely have a bigger handle on the Caligo. Another popular one these days is the Reich P801. And the P801 is a decent bit larger than the Natrix. And one more last really common blade is the Spyderco Delica 4. And as you can see, the Delica 4 is a good bit smaller in length to the Natrix. Alright, so let's get into some things I noticed right off the back that I would call gripes. They're not hurting the functionality of the blade whatsoever, but it's definitely stuff that bugs me. And as you can see, they totally missed that sharpening choil. If you see the plunge line going down right here, it should have came out all the way to here. So they could have made a forward finger choil and taken care of that, and it would have been nice to be able to choke up on this blade. That's just my opinion, though, and my feelings. Another thing that I noticed that was pretty wonky and looks pretty bad is look at that look at the fullers, how bad they don't match up. You got this huge section right here, and look, they don't even come close to matching up. And you can see it pretty bad up in here as well. Like I said, out of 5, this one was the best centered. The other ones were really close to rubbing this scale. So definitely some issues that, I don't understand how you let them leave your facility like that. Do you not have a quality control center? Another thing that I noticed that may not be an issue for you, but the detent on this guy is dialed in to where it has a nice snappy action, and I picked it for that reason. But in turn, as you can see, that jimping's cut nice and deep in there. so it really grabs onto the finger, and after repeatedly flipping it, it is somewhat uncomfortable. Definitely something that I can fix, and I probably will fix. Just like this choil, I'll probably add a forward finger choil to it if I decide to keep this knife. Nothing I can really do about the fuller, but all these things are basically aesthetic things for the most part up until this point, and they don't bother me that bad. Real quick, while I think about it before I forget, let's get a weight on this guy because this thing feels super light. .84 ounces. That is extremely light, especially for a full-size EDC knife. Let's see, a sub 3 ounce knife. Let me get an overall length just so you can kind of process that. It is a 7.5 inch knife. That is very light, and that just goes to show you what using the subframe lock can do for you. Another thing I noticed, I was gripping down on this pretty hard, cutting up a box, and whenever I gripped down on here, I noticed, being that this G10 is pretty thin, they got 90-degree edges all along the inside right here, and the fat of my fingers goes in there. It's rather sharp and can be pretty uncomfortable depending on what you're cutting, and it's all the way around like that, sharp on the inside. That's, you know, another quick fix. If they would have just put a bevel on the inside of there, just a real quick little bevel, it would have took care of that problem. But you know, if I keep it, I'm just gonna go back in with some sandpaper and knock those edges off. Not a huge deal, but for me, it is rather uncomfortable in certain grips, and depending on how hard I'm squeezing the knife. Let's see. Did I touch on? Oh, like I said, I handled 5 of these knives just so I could see how the QC was on those 5 samples. Just because I don't like to talk about a problem if it's, you know, just on this knife. And I noticed they had one that I couldn't even believe my eyes. It was so bad. On this side of the knife, they did not have, you see this chamfer they got right here on this side? That chamfer wasn't there at all, and it was just a flat piece right here butted up against here. It looked odd. It was super sharp, and like, yeah, you can see the chamfer right here going along that side, and there was butted up straight up against the carbon fiber. It was pretty ugly. Once again, how that gets through QC blows my mind. Just doesn't make any sense. So overall, at $42, you know, if the gripes that I said don't bother you, functionally, it's a pretty good knife. Could I solidly recommend this? At this point, no. Because like I showed, there's some really good options out there that, in my mind, kind of blow this knife out of the water. Now, I do love the aesthetics. The aesthetics of this knife, I think it's beautiful, and I can't wait till they come out with the copper version with the D2 steel. It is a smaller knife. It's like a 3.5 finger grip, but I handled that blade show, and it's definitely one that I will be picking up. And I hope the QC on that one is done good. It's getting late here, people. I'm getting tired. So after, I'm gonna have to do a little testing and see, you know, if those areas that I talked about, if they're too much of an issue to keep the knife, and so I can report back on y'all, tell you how this thing slices. Like I said, it feels a little thick behind the edge. Let me see, I have my calipers right here, so I can give you a roundabout. Let's see, 24 thousandths. That's not bad, especially for, you know, a saber grind. It's not terrible. it should be a decent slicer. I don't know how this carbon nitride coating holds up, and I don't know if it's going to cause you know, cause drag. I would think it would, because it is some kind of, it's a little tacky in feeling. But like I said, this is just my first impressions. I hope I don't sound too tired tonight. It's a little late when I'm recording this video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. If you have this knife and you're experiencing any of the issues I talked about, or if yours had some issues that I didn't talk about, please let me know. I like to talk about it with you guys, so people can make a good decision on whether they want to spend their hard-earned money on a knife that they like the look of, but there's way too many issues with. Like I said, I can't make a definitive should you buy it or not yet. I still got to do some testing, but at this moment I couldn't recommend it because of all the things I said. I do like the fact that I can spidey flick that, very, very nice, and the fact that I can use that fuller to pinch it and slowly open it up. Just nice touches, but it is beautiful. They definitely did a good job there. Also, can't wait for the stretch version of this. What is it, the strong arm, I think it's called? I don't know, y'all probably correct me down below, but that one's pretty exciting. I don't know if any of y'all are excited about that one, especially I think that one's a USA made version, and pretty much all their USA made knives, they just do an excellent job. Alright guys and girls, I've rambled on long enough. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, share it with all your friends and family and your social networks, and leave a comment down below so we can chat. I like talking to you guys. And if I don't respond to your comments, doesn't mean that I didn't want to talk to you. Sometimes I'm not having the best days, so I'm not always able to answer everybody's comments, but I do enjoy interacting with you guys. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, hit that bell button so you don't miss anything. I'm creeping up on 2,000 subscribers, and I plan on doing a really cool giveaway, and you don't want to miss it. So hope everybody's having an absolute wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.